Why didn't I leave the Actors Gang behind when I became a movie star? When I started to get work as an actor when I was 23, 24 years old, I didn't really think that was the best thing in the world. And so I would tell my agent, well, I got enough money now to pay rent for 5 months. I'm gonna go produce a play and direct it. And they thought I was nuts. I'm sure they lost a lot of money on that, but for me, it was a no-brainer. This is what I wanted to do when I was young. I wanted to direct theater. I wanted to create new stories in theater. My home, my base, has always been the Actors Gang. When I was young, I grew up in New York City, and I ran with a bunch of lower middle class street kids. There was turf wars between neighborhoods. I tried to stay out of it as much as possible, but I was caught up in it, as anyone is that was growing up in New York at the time. And a couple of my friends wound up in prison. And so when I became a young man telling stories in theater and in film, I still have compassion in my heart for those kinds of people because I don't feel that much different than them. I would say that whatever in my life, my early life, led me to be cast in Shawshank was more related to our prison work than Shawshank itself. We work in prison. We work with people that are definitely not free. They are locked up every night. And one of our challenges when we're working with these people, how do we get them to allow emotion and expression that has never been asked of them before? When I go inside and meet new incarcerated men and women, I don't go in with judgment. Some make mistakes. That does not make them evil. That does not mean that they aren't worthy of dignity and compassion. I believe to involve themselves with this kind of rehabilitation. It's essential in a society. If you do not do that, they're just going to come out of prison at some point worse than they went in.
See you in 15 minutes.
It feels great to be back to show the new Actors Gang piece, Harlequino Onto Freedom. Harlequino Onto Freedom is a dialectic between two schools of thought on what the Commedia dell'arte is.
What is the Commedia dell'arte?
There is the scholar who is presenting a lecture with a slideshow of the Commedia dell'arte. And his slideshow is interrupted and hijacked by a troupe of actors that want to tell their own version of what the Commedia dell'arte is. Commedia dell'arte. Everybody knows it. It's a very simple story. Two young lovers that want to be together. The father of usually the woman, is promising her off to a marriage to a rich gentleman that he knows. She's in love with a young man who is not as wealthy as that gentleman. Servants, the Harlequino and the Colombina, try to figure out a way to get the lovers together at the end of the play. And in doing so, they find a way also to make fun of or humiliate their master.
And Isabella, you will be free. Have you ever felt free, Isabella?
I think that the play asks the question, what is it to be free? Every individual in the cast has been asked, what is it to you to be free? Is freedom just a concept? Is freedom something that people use as a way to promise you something? What is necessary in the human heart to feel free? Plays that were performed for the people in the street. What would they have been concerned about? What would they want to see? That time period is all the same problems that we have right now in the United States. Constant perennial war. People that felt abandoned by their leaders. A struggle between the hypocrisy in the organized religion and the common folk, and unemployment. It's awfully seductive to be in the movies. Everyone tells you you're great, and everyone is there with a coffee and a croissant for you, and people start to treat you like not a human being anymore. You start getting treated like some kind of elevated. I never bought into that. I always felt that was kind of artificial and weird. For me, the normalcy was the theater, where people get together in a room and try something new and risk failure